Welcome to Mabrook, or in English,
Congratulations!
the movie starts like a Quentin Tarantino movie. We have like 2 minutes of just feet with some dialogue that shows us how much of a gaping asshole the main character is, who is called Ahmed, by the way, because of course he fucking is. This is Egypt. After the foot montage, bro sits at his desk at work. First, he's approached by his homie Munir, who inquires about something Ahmed was supposed to handle, which he did in the evilest way possible. He wants to fire 5 guys and delegate the work to unpaid interns so that these 2 can dodge a pay cut. After that, he gets a call from his dad that goes something like,
You took my car?
I took your car.
I gotta take your mom to the doctor. Where's the spare key to your car?
My car is taking a shit. Take a taxi.
Fuck you.
Love you too, Dad. Next up, his mom calls him to ask him to get her some medication on his way back, and she's being super sweet while he's being an absolute dickhead and just leaves the phone while she went to get the medication's name. Though to be fair, it is kind of stupid that she doesn't know the name already, and if she didn't, why didn't she just have it on hand before calling him? Bro later goes home and we get to see him dance as he undresses, but we are saved by a phone call before we got to see anything we will not recover from. The caller is his wife-to-be, Mariam. I forgot to mention, he's getting married tomorrow to her, hence the name of the movie and all the congratulations he's been getting. They exchange cringe for a bit, and after a while she asks him to make a wish at 11:59 on his last minute being single, and he wishes to live forever.
I want immortality.
Fucking dumbass. Imagine living in Egypt and wishing that. I've been here only for
Baba
2
Booey.
years and I'm already tapping out, bro. Anyway, we then get some very subtle foreshadowing. The camera zooms in on the clock as it strikes 12, right after he made the wish. Then he's woken up by his mom, who's looking all geisha while doing her best Monsters Inc. impression.
They're the same picture.
You might notice that Ahmed is now in bed and wearing a black tank top, even though he fell asleep on the recliner thingy in his work shirt, and think that this is a continuity error, but you'd be wrong. Bro actually just sleepwalked to his bed, and in the process his shirt fell off.
Actually, that's not canon.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
He looks at his watch and notices that it's 12, so he thinks he slept in, but mom tells him it's actually 10, so his watch is stopped. His aunt and cousin are also there.
Oh my god!
His dad calls for his mom asking about the crash. And his mom just explodes and throws her catchphrase that practically all Egyptian moms use.
ما حدش عنده أي إحساس بالمسؤولية.
But to be fair, with a son like that, I would have a bad temper too. Then out of nowhere, some trophy he has on his shelf breaks. And we find out that it's some guy outside with a rifle, hunting birds, I presume.
انت بتصطاد عصافير من اوضتي ولا ايه؟
Ahmed catches his parents bickering about leaving the fridge door ajar, and there's also this guy who's here to cut Dad's hair. He's completely irrelevant. Ahmed swaggers to the bathroom past his mom who's dying in the kitchen. The water is out, but he still takes for fucking ever in the bathroom, which prompts his dad to bang on the door, desperately dropping his own catchphrase that Ahmed also has memorized.
ورايا شغل ورايا شغل ورايا شغل اغنيها لك الله
And
صالح الناس هتقف كلها.
it's clear that he treats his family like NPCs, which is valid since he is in a movie and he's the main character, so they are all NPCs. They also exchange some cringe for a bit, and we learn his dad would have named him Sausan if he was a girl. Well, it's 2024 now. No time like the present to fulfill that fantasy, king. Oh, queen. Ahmed is being a spoiled brat and complains that daddy is 2k short on the money for his marriage and shit. Then his dad points out that he didn't clean up after he shaved, so he tells him to just do it himself. After he gets dressed, he notices that his PC is on mysteriously, and he immediately concludes that it's his sister Ola. He barges in and greets their cousin Amy all nice and his sister like shit, and brushes her off when she tells him to knock, and we are shown more catchphrases.
ولا علشان هو انا بنت وانت ولا تقوم تتحكم فيا ليه يا ربي ما خلقتنيش ولد.
2024 girl just identify as a man. He then gets to the point and asks her if she sat on his computer, and she says no. Amy then asks his opinion of Ola's dress, and he's like,
يلا لعب عشان نلحقهولك.
جميل.
very invested if you couldn't tell. But all that is about to change because she makes the mistake of asking his opinion of her makeup. He chews her out saying that she's still too young for that shit, and while he's at it, he tells her to turn around so he can see the back of the dress. She refuses and runs out to her mom, knocking a tray out of her hand. He then instructs Ola to change the dress, take off the makeup, and not let him catch her at the wedding with strange men, and informs her that his friend Karim will be keeping an eye on her. You know, just Egyptian brother stuff. I'm telling you, they did not hold back on trying to make you despise this guy, and we're only getting started. On his way out, we're shown a bunch of relevant details that will definitely not be relevant later. A couple arguing next to a moving truck, a guy with bread, red beetle, a woman with a dog, and the crescendo, some guy snatched a purse. Ahmed just watches as everyone runs by and gets shooed out by the last guy. Later he finds a very convenient parking spot, and instead of taking it right away, he just stops in the middle of the fucking road like a complete dumbass to mess with some folder he has. This traffic obstruction angers the guards of the auto lobby, so they smite him. He cuts his finger on the file, which is very unfortunate since he's getting married tonight and he'll probably need all the fingers he can get, if you know what I mean. The auto lobby isn't done with him yet, however, and sends someone to take his spot. You're in Cairo. What did you think was gonna happen? Anyway, he gets out of his car to try and convince her to give him the spot, but he fails the speech check.
معلش ممكن تسيبين مكان؟
And then harasses her, of course. Inside, we see Munir, his work boyfriend, wrapping up a meeting with a bunch of NPCs. Turns out they're the 5 interns, and Ahmed hands him a file with the 5 people they're leaving. Bitcoin is booming, do we buy? Fuck yeah. Ahmed is now on the phone with some guy to arrange for the wedding, and he's just like, I don't care bro, call mom. Then he stops right in front of a dying man.
I have a question for God. Why?
He tries to bail, but he's intercepted by a mob that comes out of nowhere, thinking that he hit the guy. And I call bullshit because there's no way this guy got hit and had the time to settle on the ground like this with none of these guys noticing. And also, we can't hear or see any other car when he stops, so it must have been at least 20 seconds or something. Finally, the guy is way too close to Ahmed's car for him to have actually hit him, because if he flew over the hood, he'd have rolled off it further ahead, and if he got run over, he would be under or even behind the car. Whatever. This is a bit and it's supposed to be fun. I'm looking way too deep into it. The mob make up bullshit about how they saw Ahmed obliterate this guy, hitting him specifically in the kidney, which is oddly specific. And one of them even says he saw Ahmed on the phone and assumes he was talking to Hose, which is strange that he could see Ahmed on the phone despite him not holding it up at all, yet not see that he'd... You know what? Whatever. They force Ahmed to drive the man to the hospital, much to his dismay. At the hospital, the receptionist tells them that whoever hit him has to sign the document and be responsible for the case, and Ahmed refuses, and then we are informed the guy is done, and Ahmed is feeling relieved.
Alhamdulillah.
Cut to the police station. Ahmed gets scolded by the officer there for not helping, but Ahmed doesn't really care and just smiles his way through it like I used to do back in prep school whenever I got into trouble. He's then told that he's lucky they caught the actual culprit, is given some passive-aggressive advice, and then released. Except outside he finds that his car got booted for parking in front of the station, even though they took him to the station. It sounds like something our police would do. Whatever. His tantrum is interrupted by a kid accidentally kicking a ball at his head. He kicks it back at him, but it hits a cop instead. He blames the kid, and the cop surely must have suffered a TBI from that kick to believe the ball that hit him on this side was kicked by the boy on that side. It's taxi o'clock. The driver is one of those who love to talk, unfortunately, and asks Ahmed his name. What I like here is that the movie acknowledges how generic the name Ahmed is. The driver asks his name and he tells him, so he's like, whoa, nice name, and it's new too. And Ahmed is like, half of Egypt is called Ahmed. The seatbelt is dead, which is actually very common in taxis here. Some drivers remove the pulley thing so that the belt doesn't tension, and others remove the buckle thing you insert it into. Why? I will never know. I get it if you don't want to have to put it on. You live in Egypt after all, and I imagine working as a cab driver here is not exactly fun, but at least give the clients the option not to die with you. Okay? And then Mr. Cab starts freestyling and segues into how miserable his life is, which Ahmed concludes is all made up to solicit a tip, and just hands it over to him. But unfortunately that doesn't stop Mr. Cab from singing, it just makes him switch to a happier song. Next, Ahmed is having lunch with his bestie Karim, who invited him. He's telling him about the crazy day he's had, and Karim is just like,
yes, very sad. Anyway.
And then asks him how he's gonna get married with his third finger.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you?
Ahmed then thinks to himself that Kareem treated him to this feast to talk to him about the ethos he's talking to, and he's right. So he's like,
They're all hoes.
Kareem says she's not, and she wants him to meet her family, but Ahmed shuts him down and insists that he's naive to even fall for it at all. Ahmed then goes home and finds his dad looking worse for wear and his mom next to him, but he doesn't give a shit, obviously, and only cares about the wedding. His mom chews him out for it and drops this one-liner again.
هو انت على طول كده ما عندكش اي احساس بالمسؤوليه؟
But he dismisses her, tells her that he's off to a place that Mariam, his fiancée, told him about to chill and that he'll meet them at the wedding later. At the spot, which is a spa, the spot, he flirts with / harasses the receptionist as he asks her about Mariam's cousin, Saeed, who's supposed to like take special care of him and shit. Ahmed gets ready in the bathroom and gets a gentle ass kicking for roasting this absolute unit of a dude about his muscles, which is arguably my favorite part of the whole movie. Then the guy who's been pissing in the background this whole time finally finishes and walks out without washing his hands or taking toilet paper from the TP dispenser, which is this guy over here.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Ahmed comments on how gross that is.
أنا سعيد ابن عم مريم. ألف مبروك. سعيد!
But his efforts are ultimately in vain because Saeed is his masseur for the evening. I love how the guy in the back is barely able to keep a straight face. Later, Ahmed takes a very aggressive shower to get rid of the... And off to the wedding he goes, and he's late to his own wedding. He makes his way across the street while getting scolded over the phone by his dad when... And the movie ends.
Psych!
Ahmed wakes up in his bed again, so it was all just a dream after all. His mom barges in doing the Monsters Inc. thing, but notices how distraught he looks. He says it's fine though, so she drops it. His watch is stuck at 12 again, but this time he asks specifically if it's 10 or 12 o'clock, and it's 10. Then his aunt comes in again. He notices the strangeness and asks if she stayed the night, but she's like, nah, she drops the exact same lines from the dream. Then a bunch of other shenanigans happen. She kisses him. The trophy breaks, the fridge door, Barbara NPC, mom dying in the kitchen, water's out, dad banging on the bathroom door. It's all exactly like the dream, but this time he's not as nonchalant about it, rather confused about all the deja vu. He asks his dad if he's got all the money and his dad says it's missing 2K, just like in the dream. In his room he notices the PC is on and is like, fuck no, you're getting away with it in the nightmare but not here. He barges in on his sister with intent to kill. But gets confused and trips over his own words so bad that she asks him what's wrong. He eventually manages to ask if she sat on his computer and tells her it's okay if she did, but he fails the speech check because she doesn't trust him.
لو قعدت مش مشكلة على فكرة أنا مديك الأمان. قعدتي صح؟
انا ما جاتش ناحيه الكمبيوتر بتاعك.
She then says the same lines from the dream.
لفي كده وليه ضرب فستان؟
لا
أو لو سمحت لفي عايز أشوف ضرب فستان.
لا
إيه اللي لأ لفي بقول لك.
Just like in the dream.
ازيك إيه؟
انا قشطه انت تمام؟
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
Ahmed slaps himself out of it and decides that it was just a dream, but he's still unsure, so he goes back and wears a different outfit than the one he had in the dream. Outside, all the irrelevant details are still the same and still irrelevant. Ahmed still doesn't interfere with the robbery, but this time he pre-fires the guy who spat on him in the dream. At work, this time he is not as retarded and yoinks the parking spot just before the other lady, and he very carefully pulls out the file so he doesn't hurt his finger, which reassures him that he is just tripping balls, as this is the first significant difference since he woke up. He's early to the meeting this time since he didn't waste time harassing the other woman and finding a different place to park, and we get to see that Munir was shitting on Ahmed, comparing himself to him, and how Ahmed went with the low risk, low reward career while Munir took the riskier path and now makes a bunch more money. Ahmed crashes the meeting and doesn't deny the fact that Munir makes way more than him, but says they are both the same age, but he looks significantly older due to stress, and asks the philosophical question, live longer or have more money? They unanimously choose money, and I couldn't agree more. So Ahmed feels butthurt and hands Munir the file with the 5 guys they're letting go. Then Bro says Bitcoin is booming, so Munir tells him to buy. Just like in the on his way out, there's a bunch of small irrelevant details that are also matching with the dream. Outside, Ahmed is losing his shit in his car when we get to see the hit and run unfold this time. Ahmed decides to write down the license plate in uncharacteristic altruism, but the driver sees him and backs up, telling him to get rid of the note or he'll kick his ass. So Ahmed gives up on his short-lived vigilance and goes back to his not my problem attitude. The mob shows up again and Ahmed argues that he's too far to have hit him this time, but they say he hit him so fucking hard that he threw him all the way over. also hitting him in the kidney, by the way. So Ahmed is just like, fuck it, let's get to the police station, because he's gonna die anyway, but they force him to go to the hospital, where the man dies, just like in the... Cut to the station, the driver's in cuffs, glaring at Ahmed, like... So Ahmed lies to defend him, but the cop says the driver himself confessed, so Ahmed is like, what the fuck are you looking at me like that for then? And switches his statement. He then gets the same scolding, and he doesn't respond this time, but the conversation plays out exactly the same regardless. Outside, his car is booted again, and he gets the ball to the head again, just like your mom. He almost yeets it back this time, but he remembers the cop hit and he rolls it instead gently to the boy. He gets in a taxi with the same guy. He keeps asking if he rode with him before, but Mr. Cab doesn't remember him. Ahmed tells him he's called Michael this time, but he gets the same response from Mr. Cab anyway, about his name being new and all. At this point, it's like those lazy RPG games where your conversation choices don't mean shit and the NPCs say the exact same things anyway. Speaking of which, he sings the same song. Ahmed interrupts him, insisting that he rode with him before, so he uses that to segue to his sad story, saying it's possible because he's so overworked and shit that he could have easily just forgotten.
الواحد مش عارف امسك.
He gets the same song from the dream.
نزلني هنا نزلني هنا نزلني هنا.
Ahmed then tells Kareem about how he dreamt of everything that's happened today to the finest details, explaining that his family are NPCs, but it can't be a coincidence with the other events. Kareem thinks he's tripping and starts to tell him about the girl he's talking to, but Ahmed cuts him like,
Yo, yo, yo!
saying he's dreamt of this. Kareem dares him to finish his sentence for him, but he failed, and Kareem explains it away that he must have heard this before because he talks to him about it a lot. Defeated, Ahmed listens. Kareem says something new this time, however, that he learned that her brother is his friend. Ahmed responds saying that this girl, her family, and Kareem are all garbage, and that her brother probably knows about them and is just being a cock. Kareem defends him, saying that he has no clue, so Ahmed says he's stupid then. Kareem suggests that they should tell him to make it right. Ahmed says that if he was her brother, he'd catch them red-handed and kill them both. Kareem defends the girl, saying she doesn't want to talk or meet up anymore until they tell her brother, and assures him that she's a good girl. Not that kind of good girl. Ahmed ends the discussion, then hurts his finger on a fish bone, and he has a meltdown, being like, see? Also, we casually learn that Kareem's phone is dead. Ahmed catches his dad feeling sick a little earlier than in a dream. In a confused haze, but equally dickheadish, Ahmed learns that the doctor is out of town and is sent to get Dad's medication from the other room. In there, he finds a phone on the ground with an ongoing call, so he picks it up. It was with a co-worker of his dad's who asks Ahmed to tell his dad to call him back when he's feeling better, urgently. At the spa, he finds a different girl at the reception. He asks her about the girl he saw before in the dream, but this one only speaks Russian, so they get nowhere. He concludes that the other girl doesn't exist, but as he leaves, she comes in and switches with the Russian girl. In the bathroom, Ahmed recalls all the details, but avoids the guy who kicked his ass. He interrupts Saeed while he was pissing to ask him if they met before, and he's like, no, and introduces himself as Saeed. Ahmed loses his shit.
سلم على الحنفية الأول وبعدين بقى سلم عليا.
Then Kareem rushes in all worried. Apparently Ahmed called him to this place. Ahmed tells him everything is still coming true, but Kareem is just chilling in the hot tub and dismisses it. He tells Ahmed to shut the fuck up and hop in the water with him and that he'll be A-okay. So Ahmed's just like, fuck it, and starts to undress and empties his pockets. And you know guys' pockets have a lot of shit in them, so it takes him some time. Enough time for Kareem to notice the bottle of tramadol he pulled out, which belongs to his mom. Ahmed mistook it for his dad's medication earlier, but she told him that it's for her hair. He kept it with him for some reason. So Kareem freaks out and thinks Ahmed is doing drugs. He doesn't believe that it's his mom and tells him not to do it again. Ahmed, however, knows that it's his mom, so he concludes that his mom is an addict. He is late to his wedding again, and this time he's very weary of the trailer that hit him last time. His dad tells him to hurry the fuck up, but Ahmed continues to hesitate until he spots the trailer. They do a little dance and the trailer ends up swerving away and into a billboard. Ahmed celebrates right next to the crash like a dumbass and wins a Darwin Award. Ahmed wakes up in his bed and he's very upset. He speedruns through the exact same events. And this time he catches his sister on the computer who's on Discord with Kareem, but she manages to close it just in time. Reminds me of myself as a kid, playing on the computer when I wasn't allowed to. She gets scared and runs out, knocking the same tray out of mom's hand. Ahmed tries to rationalize everything, but it's too much for his 1.5 brain cells. He runs out to the balcony and observes all the details, but the robbery didn't happen this time for some reason. I'm not sure what the rules are for this time loop. I guess shit can decide to just not happen to make you look insane. Poor mom and dad then talk a very confused Ahmed down and take his ass back inside to whoop it. They don't actually, but I wish they did. His mom makes him some lemonade to calm him down, and he declares that he is not going to the wedding, arguing that he feels something bad will happen to him. His dad asks him how would something happen to him, he seems just fine. Ahmad responds saying he's fine now, but later after the wedding he won't be. So his dad interprets this as him having sexual insecurities and tells his mom to give them 5 in private. Ahmad picks up on that and is very defensive, but is still adamant about not going. Then Mariam's father, who is played by Senator Armstrong, suddenly speaks. Was he there all along? He's been awfully quiet for someone whose daughter's reputation is on the brink. Anyhow, the senator says he's not leaving until he learns what changed Ahmad's mind. So Ahmad declares he thinks he will die after the wedding, which is kinda stupid because he dies before he even enters the venue, but whatever. Senator Armstrong is not convinced and appoints Saeed to make sure he goes to the wedding before storming off with Mariam. Talk about arranged marriage, am I right? Except it's usually the girl, not the guy, being forced into it. Saeed tries to be friendly and introduces himself, but Ahmad tells him to go take a piss first before he shakes his hand. Not joking, he actually says that.
قوم اعمل بيه وتعالى سلم عليه الأول. قوم اعمل بيه.
Ahmad thinks for a while about who to tell, but concludes that no one would believe him. After all, he himself is not sure if he believes him. So he comes up with the genius idea to write everything that happens down so that the next day he can show everyone the papers and then they would believe him. So he gets busy scribbling while Saeed plays GTA in the background. San Andreas, I think? I've never actually played any GTA. I know. Dweeb alert. Also, he puts away the computer to stop his sister from using it. At some point, he reaches for the trophy and cuts his finger on it and drops it, breaking it. I think the entire budget for this movie was spent on trays and copies of this trophy. Ahmad's thoughts are interrupted by Saeed ripping text, saying he has to use the bathroom.
Alright then, buddy. I'm going to shit.
Ahmad huffs off to check if it's empty, but on the way he overhears his dad on the phone talking to his co-worker from earlier, and it sounds like his dad stole some money from his workplace, but an audit was done and he is now being investigated. The news is too much for his dad, so he collapses. Ahmad just stands there like a deer in headlights, processing that his dad is a thief, which I know is a bad thing, but it's kind of hilarious to me that Ahmad is upset about it when he is the reason why in the first place. Don't forget that his dad's paying for his car, his new apartment that he's getting married in, and the wedding, even though Ahmad has a job himself. His mom rolls around and is understandably worried upon seeing her husband on the floor, and scolds Ahmad for just sitting there and not doing anything, but he then responds obnoxiously because he already believes that she's an addict and now he thinks that dad is a thief. He tells them the doctor is out of town, tells her to do what she has been doing the past 3 times this happened, or 2? Has it been 2 or 3? I already lost track, wow. And that he will regretfully go get his medication from the other room. Ahmad arrives at the wedding and his newly acquired shadow, aka Saeed, is with him. Ahmad tells him to go in, he'll park and come. But Saeed is not falling for that shit. But then he falls for that shit, and Ahmad obviously speeds off while Saeed chases after him desperately. And I have to say, Saeed has the stamina of a sugar daddy. Hit the gym, kings. You never know when you might have to chase someone down or run away from someone. Ahmad is driving far, far away and out of Cairo altogether, thinking the curse is tied to the wedding and that now he is not gonna die. Ahmad wakes up again and there's a continuity error. For real this time. I've said this like for every other loop, but this time I'm 100% sure. He did not have his cover on every other time. Anyway, he's understandably frustrated. All my gamers... Where my gamers at? Know the feeling. He's playing a game that uses autosave and is stuck at a part where there's a hard part just before a save point, and every time he dies he has to replay a bunch of shit to get back to it. His mom asks him what's wrong and he just tells her to beat it and go get his dad. Ahmad remembers all the shit he wrote down and goes to check it's all gone. It's all gone. I don't know what he expected would happen in a scenario where the same day resets and plays over each time. I've never been stuck in a time loop before, but I think I'd min-max the shit out of it to perfection, and with enough reruns, I could achieve godhood. Ahmad screams at whatever forces are at play, fucking with him, saying that he's not scared, but then the trophy gets shot and he gets scared. Also, a little detail that never fails to make me laugh every time I watch this movie is this part right here.
I don't know why I'm laughing, that was funny.
Outside, everything is the same, and Ahmad acknowledges that and isn't exactly happy about it. He dodges the robbery this time by getting into his car. No getting spat on this time, and I know some of you freaks are disappointed. He waits in the car for his mom to get out and then tails her to a sketchy hood, which I call bullshit. Ain't no way she didn't notice her son's car driving around behind her. Does she not use her rear view mirrors? I mean, she probably doesn't. I've seen how people drive in Cairo. She stops her car and a sketchy dude walks up to her, from whom she buys tramadol. He also offers her a drag, but she pushes his hand away. This is how college is, according to boomers. Everyone will offer you free drugs. I wish they fucking did. It's still funny to me that he would offer this old lady a drag off a blunt, like... I guess she has the nicest dealer ever. Or dumbest. Later at night, Ahmed is at some open-air cafe venting to Kareem about the scandals he thinks his family are up to. Kareem is shocked, even though he's the one who told Ahmed about the tramadol in the first place. But as we've established, every time Ahmed loads last checkpoint, everything resets. Ahmed concludes and insists that this is all because of marriage, saying that as a free man, he's clinging to his last day of freedom before getting shackled. Marriage, am I right, folks? Marriage? Are you married, sir? Sucks to be you, my friend. Are you married? Wouldn't wanna be you, man. You in the back? Good luck, my friend. Abdullah, my man, you have 2 wives. I don't even know how you do it. Therefore, he's skipping the wedding. This is a message, he says. A message to stay free. Kareem calls him crazy and tells him he's just having nightmares and that this is all a dream. Ahmed tells him that he already has said that and to find something new to say. So Kareem suggests that whenever Ahmed sees something he's seen before, to change it, mix it up, change reality. Ahmed tells him to fuck off because nobody can change reality, but Kareem says, actually anyone can because we make reality. What we can change is fate because it happens to us. Ahmed is convinced and asks where he got that. He says he saw it online. Wink wink. Ahmed asks the time.
I don't give a fuck.
This time we skip to Ahmed at Kareem's place, telling him he still died anyway, so the wedding and marriage can't be it. Ahmed then notices his room on Kareem's computer screen and asks about it. Kareem awkwardly but successfully brushes it off and gets Ahmed talking again. But seriously, who the fuck gets off a video call without hanging up? Do you just both get off the PC and leave the call and webcams open? Who the fuck are these people? Aren't they supposed to be doing this in secret? Ahmed tells Kareem what he told him last night about changing. Except it wasn't last night, it was tonight, and it still didn't even happen. Obviously Kareem doesn't remember, but pretends to when Ahmed snaps at him, telling him that it's cool, he can pick whatever he wants from his closet. Get it? Because changing? I found it funny, but Ahmed clearly didn't. There's something we say here when someone refuses to get something. You offer to sing it for them. For the last time, pee is not stored in the balls. Do I have to sing it for you? Ahmed then literally sings to Kareem about changing reality. Ahmed asks to stay at Kareem's tonight, and he agrees, of course. Honestly, Kareem is a solid bestie, and the whole thing about dating your bro's sister is stupid anyway. I would much rather have her with someone I already know and trust than a random stranger. Justice for Kareem. My boy did nothing wrong. In fact, he's super nice despite Ahmed constantly being mean to him. I get that Ahmed is losing his shit and all with all the time loop stuff, but still, it's not Kareem's fault. My boy is just confused and thinks his friend is going crazy. Later, Ahmed yells groceries at Kareem from the balcony, who's downstairs on his way out. And he's not even being polite. Look, I don't care how close we are. If someone gets this bossy with me while staying at my place,
You are done!
conveniently, Ahmed asks for something that will not be available this late so Kareem can tell him that it's midnight to let us know before... I'm starting to feel this curse only works if Ahmed knows that it's midnight. Kinda like gravity in Looney Tunes that only works once you look down. Ahmed wakes up and the cover is still on, for fuck's sake. Little details like this piss me off. Ahmed finally notices that it's actually tied to midnight. I guess he didn't hear the boom sound effect they played at the start of the movie when the clock struck 12. He rushes to check if the water is out, which it is, so he's determined to change reality. He goes back to his room and catches Ola on the computer, but this time he snoops in and finds out that she's talking to Kareem. Ola is nagging Kareem to tell Ahmed about them because she's feeling guilty, and he promises that he will over the seafood lunch he's treating him to. One thing that pisses me the fuck off about this scene is that this is not a fucking video call. It's a video of Kareem that Ola is talking to. Come on! Seriously, guys? Ahmed then crashes the call and tells Kareem to go fuck himself. As for Ola, he grabs her by the hair and slaps her, which sends her running out to her mom, and she, for the first time, drops the tray willingly in order to grab his sister and comfort her, being like,
Oi, you wanker, what's all this then?
Ahmed explains that Ola is a hoe. Mom defends her, so he just... and starts throwing shit at the others. He runs off to grab Mom's drugs and confronts her, saying if Mom's a junkie, her daughter is obviously gonna turn out a slut. His dad tries to defuse the situation, saying he'll explain to him, but Ahmed calls him With no one left on his side, Ahmed explains that he's better than all of them. Not a drug addict, not a robber, and not a whore. Ahmed storms off, smashing shit along the way.
The time for talk is past. The Lord's work must be done.
He's at the point when this shit stops being funny and you start trying to power through the part you're stuck at in the game. then confronts the robber early on and asks him not to steal this time. The guy says he's not a thief and tells Ahmed to bounce. But instead of praise, Ahmed gets shooed out by the mob, who instead pick up the guy and praise him. I hate how Munir's screams don't match his lips at all while he's on fire. The ADR failed miserably on this one. Why didn't this dumbass just drive off after the first hit? He finally does after Ahmed fucks up his car, and he hits the guy anyway. The mob show up and accuse Ahmed of hitting the guy with a baseball bat. Can you guess where they say Ahmed hit him? Ahmed then walks to the police station and we hear the driver getting interrogated inside, then decides to let it go and not fuck the officer up. And I have to call bullshit that this visibly deranged guy walks that close to a police station with a baseball bat in hand and doesn't even get a word from any of the cops. I got searched for having a scarf on my mouth, bro. One thing I want to point out about this whole sequence is the massive time jump. We know that Ahmed always dies at midnight, and just before he got to the last person on his hit list, see what I did there? Who is Kareem, he was at the station where the officer is always having breakfast, meaning that it couldn't be later than 1 p.m. So I can only wonder what sort of GTA shenanigans Ahmed has been up to in those 11 or so hours. Anyway, Ahmed shows up at Kareem's door and sings the birthday song.
Happy birthday to you.
Saying that he's here to celebrate that he now knows and everything is cleared up. And Kareem, being the sweet young soul that he is, somehow falls for this.
Happy birthday.
Kareem finally stands up for himself and grabs a shotgun off the wall. Ahmed isn't fazed, saying that he's died way cooler death. No, I would never. It's just decorative. Ahmed wakes up again with one thing on his mind. We cut directly to the end of the day, where he is all cheery and taking Kareem to the same open-air cafe they were at before. He makes sure that Kareem sits on the chair close to the road and then sits precisely where Ahmed got run over last time, and asks him about the time. Kareem says it's 12:01. Confused, Ahmed gets up to check. Ahmed goes straight to his sister, shoves Amy out of the way, and slaps Ola for being with someone who killed him. And he must have slapped her real fucking hard, because that girl is out.
ازيك يا ايمي؟
Amy runs for her life and Ahmed grabs Ola's phone and locks her in, which is kind of stupid because Amy is definitely gonna tell someone what happened and they could just go help her. I don't think he's thinking his actions too much anymore. I get it though, you die enough times at one part and you start getting sloppy and die even stupider death before you even get to the part you're dying at. Ahmed then rounds up all his family's shoes in a bedsheet, including the and dumps them in the Nile to prevent his family from leaving the house. I just want to point out that the amount he's shown dumping off is way less than when we saw him pack. Maybe it was hard to shoot with the full amount. Also, we're not gonna talk about how no one noticed him collecting the shoes or walking out with this massive sack, especially after potentially murdering his sister in front of their cousin. Back home, Ahmed overhears his mom begging his dad to hurry with the tramadol, you perverts. She's in pain. Dad gives her the shot and tells her she should quit, but she's like,
never.
Ahmed is upset, thinking that not only his dad is a thief, he's also aware of his mom's addiction and is enabling it. He goes back to his room and finds Ola on the computer with Kareem, reminding him that she, at least in his eyes, is a slut and that his whole family is a shame. At his limit, Ahmed just runs off, Forrest Gump style if Forrest Gump was depressed. We're intermittently shown visions of the disgusting things he thinks his family is up to. He ends it by going out on his own terms, jumping off a parking building before his designated dying hour. But of course, his efforts are futile as he dies at the hospital later, only when the clock strikes 12.
When you try your best but you don't succeed.
This time, Ahmed tries to get out of Egypt altogether, the lucky son of a bitch. Lucky son of a bitch. At this point, you start looking for bugs in the game to exploit and get past the annoying parts you're stuck in. Case in point, he takes a camel and wanders off into the desert. He does the thing that everyone does in the desert in movies and drops his water and dies at midnight, which is stupid because you cannot die that fast from dehydration. Plus, he could have just drank his own piss. I don't care how gross you think that is, survival ain't pretty, and you deserve it for being a fucking dumbass who can't hold on to a goddamn bottle. Do the Bear Grylls, drink the piss. If Saul Goodman could do it, so can you. Next, he somehow gets himself kidnapped by some cult who cut off his head, but before they do, he tells the guy holding him to put his head next to him so he doesn't have to look for it when he wakes up. Ahmed loads up and he's sick of this shit. He recites to his mom everything that's about to happen and then does the same to his dad. He even hands him that he took with him to the bathroom for some reason. I mean, what the fuck? I've tried more desperate shit in game. Ahmed stalks the robbery outside and sees that the guy he fucked up with the bat a few runs ago was actually not the thief. He snatched the purse back from the actual robber on a motorbike and ran back with it to the woman who just died? Anyhow, Ahmed realizes he misjudged the situation. At the hit and run, Ahmed just runs over the guy.
بكره هيبقى كويس.
Next, Ahmed is fishing in the Nile on a little boat. Mariam calls him asking him what he's up to and is upset that he's fishing on their wedding day, but he ain't having none of that and just... When he's done, his car is booted, so he hails over Mr. Cab by his name and hops in. As if Mr. Cab wasn't confused enough by that, Ahmed then proceeds to sing his own song to him, and we get this amazing face from Mr. Cab. Ahmed then hands him the tip and they sing the happy song in unison. Then Mr. Cab gets a phone call and commits a crime. Don't drive while on the phone, kids. Or do. I don't fucking care. It's the same as talking to someone next to you. Besides, nobody's gonna enforce it on you because it is Egypt. We learn through the call that Mr. Cab wasn't actually lying about all the misery he told Ahmed before. Another situation that Ahmed misjudged. He then checks the time and tells Mr. Cab to get to his dad's workplace ASAP. There, Ahmed eavesdrops on his dad's co-worker who was on the phone with him, and we learn that the money his dad stole was actually his retirement money. He just took it 2 days earlier than scheduled because he was in a pinch because of Ahmed's wedding, which would have been fine if not for the audit. Yet another situation that Ahmed misjudged. If you can't tell by now, Ahmed is actually the villain in this story. Ahmed contemplates the fact that his dad is actually a good man and wonders why he would willingly live with an addict. He swears to stop her and his sister Ola from the shameful things they're doing. His thoughts, however, are interrupted when he pricks his finger on a thorn. Ahmed tells Munir that his SIM got frozen as an excuse to borrow his phone, which he then uses to call the cops to report his mom's dealer. He used Munir's phone and gave them his information in case it brings trouble, being suspected of connections with the dealer or something. I don't know, you can't be too careful with cops. At the dealership, get it? Ahmed lurks waiting for the cops to drop, but his mom gets there early. The cops drop as soon as the exchange is in progress and they round up everyone, including his mom. Ahmed drives away and tries to call his dad but can't get to him, and then he remembers that his dad is sick, so he speeds up. Ahmed rushes in and gets his dad up and does everything for him. For once, he's not being a selfish dick. Once his dad's feeling better, they have a conversation that goes something like, "Where's your mom?" At the police station. "And your sister?" Probably sucking off Kareem.
What did he say?
At the station, an officer says that she was swept up by mistake with the suspects and advises them that they take her to a hospital. Like, no shit, Sherlock, she's passed the fuck out on her chair.
Is she dead?
Why is he so nonchalant about it? And why did no one get her any sort of medical attention? Why do her family have to come in and do it themselves? Whatever, it's Egypt. This makes sense. At the hospital, we learn that she in fact has cancer and was just taking painkillers, aka the tramadol, instead of getting treatment. So Ahmed misjudged her as well. Then he confesses everything to his dad out in the lobby and takes accountability for once, but asks why his dad never told him his mom was sick. Dad says it's simply because Ahmed never gave a shit about anyone but himself, which is like inarguably true, but still I think your mom having cancer is something you have a right to know, like even for purely practical reasons, right? This time, instead of dying, however, Ahmed wakes up for real. And he's actually back on the recliner thing with his work clothes on, so it wasn't a continuity error after all. As I said, but the shit with the blanket was, I'm not giving that one up. His watch isn't stuck this time. He peeks out of his room and overhears Mom telling Dad to put the money back and take her treatment fund instead for Ahmed's apartment. Dad refuses, she pushes, he says it's already done anyway. When they do spot Ahmed, they pretend to bicker about the fridge door. There are some other similarities to the dream, but the water isn't out, so Ahmed is relieved. He skedaddles back to his room where Ola is talking to Kareem, but he catches them early this time and hears Kareem telling her that the dress is too revealing, aka being a good boyfriend. She tells Kareem to tell Ahmed because because she's feeling guilty and that she wishes she could be the one to tell him, but she can't because it's her fate that Ahmad is a selfish asshole. Kareem tries to stick up for him, but she hits him with the fate versus reality thing that Kareem told Ahmad in the dream. Ahmad, being a changed man, is swayed by this whole interaction and wants Kareem for Ola, that he'll look after her and shit. Ahmad then confronts his mom about her cancer, and after the usual denial, she says it's not much better to die from chemo than from cancer. He tells her that this chemo will hopefully cure her, but she argues it'll make her bald and she'll only be a woman in her ID, which, like, I get it. Trust me, I fucking love my hair, but I think it's a small price to pay for not dying. Unless you want to die, of course. In that case, sure, go ahead. And hey, we're in Egypt. Who doesn't want to die anyway? Next up is Ola.
ادخل يا بابا.
Yep. That's how little Ahmad knocks. Never. He swaggers in, turns off the music, and asks Amy to step out for a second. Both girls are sketched out, but she does as he said. He compliments the dress and asks her to do a spin, and this time she agrees. She's confused by his new attitude, saying she thought he'd be the first to object, to which he replies, "First, I thought I was the only one that objected."
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare.
She then asks about the makeup, and he says that she's pretty without any of it. This is wholesome. He then tells her that he's a friend now, and she can tell him anything she wants, presumably because of what he heard her say, but also because, I hope anyway, he realized that his shit attitude drove her to seek comfort outside of home, and just got lucky that it was Kareem who's the nicest guy in this whole fucking movie, which is actually a common parenting mistake. This is how kids end up with bad crowds. Anyway, he asks her if she sat on his computer, and she admits it. Ahmad kisses her head, calls Amy back, and dips. Then Ola pricks her finger on a pin.
Think about it, man. This could be a sign.
Outside, all the irrelevant details we use as a point of reference are there.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
But armed with knowledge, Ahmad intercepts the actual thief this time, and I gotta say, that's a strong-ass car door. Next, we're at the work meeting where Munir shits on Ahmad. Ahmad walks in slowly and swaggers over to Munir. The tension is palpable, but then Ahmad cuts it by roasting himself and making some weird stock market analogy about how family is more important. Ahmad then leaves and dumps the file, which, if you recall, was gonna fire 5 employees and overwork 5 unpaid interns to save Ahmad and Munir a pay cut. Next, at the hit and run, Ahmad cuts off the driver and kicks his ass, then rushes over to the victim to get him in his car and take him to the hospital. At the hospital, he is eager to sign, but alas, the guy still dies anyway. Then Ahmad drops the driver, who he had tied up in his trunk, to the police station. And while I definitely support this, I don't know if that's legal. I think they would have taken, it's Egypt, whatever. At Daddy's work, Ahmad returns the money, saying that his dad changed his mind about retiring, and informs the guy about the audit. Then he goes to meet his dad, who's at the cafeteria watching a football game. Or soccer, for some of you suckers. Ahmad walks up to him and lets him know what he did, saying he won't be the cause he quits early since he loves his work. His dad argues, but it's final anyway. They banter for a bit, and I have to say, the worst part about this whole scene is how the ball teleports back to the boy. In this shot, after it hits Dad, you see him sitting there, and in the next, when Ahmad is walking in, it's magically back under his arm. Next on the not hit list is Kareem. Ahmad tells him e-thoughts are actually not thoughts, but in fact, many of them are really good. No, not, for fuck's sake, not that kind. And they come from good families. Kareem tells him he wants to talk to her family, especially that he found out that her brother is his friend. Ahmad supports the decision and says he has a feeling her brother will be understanding. So Kareem just strips the band-aid off and says it's his sister. And Ahmad is like, I came here today to tell you to look after her. Foreshadowing. Back at home, Ahmad shaves his head to encourage his mom to get chemo. She sees him after he's done and starts crying, saying he's the best son in the world. Moms, man, they're so gullible, am I right? No, but seriously, bless this woman. Bro has been a bigger pile of shit than the one from Jurassic Park 1 his whole life, and after being nice for 1/2 day, he's suddenly Son of the Year nominee.
What?
From the way he's been talking to her and Kareem earlier, it's clear that he knows he's gonna die, and he's okay with it. He asks the time, and she said that her watch has been stuck since this morning.
What if it's a stop sign, Billy?
At the venue, Ahmad is on time, but his family are late. Oh my fucking god, this entire sequence pisses me off so much. It's the dumbest shit you will ever see. And you watch me, so that's saying something. On their way across the street, his mom notices that she forgot her phone and drops her purse. And instead of like quickly gathering her shit and moving on, she scrambles through it in the middle of the fucking highway.
You have a problem in your brain?
And the other 2 dumbasses just stand next to her, not even watching for oncoming traffic. I swear this is the type of people you could sneak up on with a trailer. Speaking of trailers, you will never guess what he does next. He rushes into his car, drives it in front of the trailer, and lets it hit him.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
The end. I feel like there are less extreme measures he could have taken to save his brain-dead family, like telling them to move the fuck out of the way.
Get the fuck out of the way! There are cars there, motherfucker!
Maybe run them over. No. Maybe run over to them and pull them away. Like, come on, bro's just trying to die, I guess.
I just f***ing killed myself, dude.
Maybe he did it to like spare his family the curse or something, but like he didn't even see the signs happen to them besides his mom's watch. He had no means of knowing for certain that the curse is on them. And more importantly, it was just a dream. I mean, sure, it's eerily prophetic, but it's a dream. I wouldn't get myself killed on my wedding night over a dream. Like, it's his wedding night. Imagine being that close to banging only to die virgin. That's just fucking sad, man. And it's such an unnecessary stupid death too. This ending has always pissed me the fuck off, and it's even worse now that I'm rewatching this for the millionth time, but critically. Overall, it's a fun movie. Like, it's dumb and predictable, but it's entertaining, except for the dog shit ending. And the acting is pretty convincing, especially his sister. I think the actress did a great job. Her emotions are very believable. You can watch this on YouTube, by the way. I'll link it in the description, right under the link where you can give me money for my hard work. This script took 4 fucking days to write.
And the editing took 6.
I earned it, goddammit. So yeah, that was...
Congratulations!
Let me know if you like this video and if you want me to do more Egyptian movies like this, or differently. I don't know, any feedback would be great. I had a lot of fun making this, and I figure it's a nice change from the usual dystopian content I make, while still sticking with the theme of being Egypt related. With that being said, Assalamu alaikum und bis bald.